Hey guys, so for this video, I'm going to be ranking the best Fortnite teams in the world. The last time I made this top 10 list was about 6 months ago and you guys absolutely loved it. It's currently one of my highest viewed pieces of content ever. The problem with it though is that it's become outdated. Some orgs like Ghost Gaming have completely revamped their rosters while other ones like Luminosity have entirely pulled out of the scene. Those things coupled with the ever-changing in-game meta make this the perfect time to update my list. The way it's gonna work is I'll be ranking teams based on the competitive skill of their roster, not on how many viewers they get or how many creative wagers they've won, only competitive skill in recent tournaments. Furthermore, I'll be giving bonus points to teams that dominate their regions, as well as take away points from teams that only have one elite level player. Lastly, please remember this is my own personal opinion. It is more than okay to disagree with me, just let me know down below why you do. So with that being said, let's get into my rankings for the top 10 Fortnite teams in the world 2020 edition. Coming in at the number 10 spot is Team Kungarna. Led and founded by the Fortnite guy, Kungarna is one of the most interesting organizations in the scene. They started off before the Fortnite World Cup, only letting in small unsigned players. They did not have contracts, they didn't have any outside investments, it was essentially a free agent team. Regardless, KNG scouted some insanely talented players. These include NRG Unknown, NRG Epic Whale, CLGJ, and CLG Leno. Following the World Cup, most of Team Kungarna's top players were picked up by quote-unquote real organizations. They were essentially left with nobody. About 3 weeks ago, that stigma shifted as the Fortnite guy signed 3 of North America's top controller players, Assault, Innocence, and Colazo. Assault placed 2nd in the Solo FNCS Invitational, 8th in the Duo FNCS Grand Finals, top 6 in the Winter Royale, and 7th in Lachlan's Trio Cup. Innocence placed 3rd in that trio event with Tfue and Scoped, won the 2nd week of Duo FNCS, and placed top 2 in 2 separate days of the Winter Royale. Last but not least, Colazo finished 36th in the FNCS Solo Invitational and top 5 in numerous Season 2 Cash Cups. He's also a boomer like me, which gives him some brownie points. So, although you may think of Team Kungarna as a meme because of their lesser known players, their recent signings alone have solidified them as a top 10 team in the world. Next up at the number 9 spot is Team Power. Yes, you heard that correctly, I'm talking about Lachlan's new esport organization. Power was quite literally founded less than a month ago. Their roster consists of Radius, Worthy, Looter, and Repulse. Now, if you're not that invested into Fortnite esports, then you probably have no idea who any of these guys are. The only one you may slightly recognize is Radius, and that's because he's been featured in a ton of random skill race videos. To fill you in, all of Power's roster is from the Oceanic region. Don't let that fool you though, as the players they picked up have dominated in it. Starting with Worthy, he finished 4th in the Solo FNCS Invitational, 1st in Day 1 of the Winter Royale, and 1st in 7 different Cash Cups. He's arguably the best player in OCE. After him is my homie Repulse God, who finished 2nd in the Solo FNCS Invitational, and 4th at DreamHack Anaheim above most top tier NA and EU pros. 3rd up is Radius, aka Lachlan's old duo and carry. Radius helped Lockie qualify for the FNCS Grand Finals in duos, following a 7th place finish in their heat. To finish up the roster, we have another Cash Cup god named Looter that most notably came 2nd at the Australian Open. So while you may be hesitant to rank Power as highly as I did, there is no denying they run the OCE region. Moving on to the 8th spot, and we have Wave Esports. Wave is a gaming organization based in Vienna, Austria. They came into the scene in mid-2019, but only made a name for themselves after their pros popped off in Chapter 2. The players I'm talking about are Janice C, Styler, Flick, Maestro, and Flopper Boy Frey. I honestly believe Janice C is the most underrated player in Europe. He won the Solo FNCS Invitational, bagging $120,000. He also won his Duo FNCS heat, came 2nd in the most recent Solo Cash Cup, and 2nd again in week 4 of the Duo qualifiers. Had he and his duo Tayson finished higher in the Grand Finals, Genesee would probably be up there as the best player in Europe. As for the rest of Wave, they are equally as skilled and overlooked. Flick placed 6th in the Solo FNCS Invitational, Styler placed 27th, Maestro placed 40th, and Frey placed 47th. That is an absolutely incredible stat line to think about. All 5 of their members placed top 50 in the most competitive solo tournament in the world. No other team did that on any other server. Additionally, in duos, Maestro and Styler placed 17th in the Duo Grand Finals, and Frey and Flick qualified for the semifinals. Most recently, in trios, Flick and Janice have teamed up and finished 4th in the Mr. Savage Cup. So, in case you have not been keeping tabs on Wave, I think they're the highest caliber team in Europe. On to the number 7 spot, that has been given to Built by Gamers. Built by Gamers, or BBG, is an American esports org with headquarters in Arizona. Their first pickups were after the World Cup in September of 2019. They signed Clank, AJ, Posick, and later on Smacked and Niddle. All of these guys are solid competitive Fortnite players. They didn't have the biggest brand, but they consistently qualified in every big tournament like FNCS trios and squads. Fast forward to Chapter 2 Season 3, and only AJ was left standing from their original roster. To join him was the absolute legend Young Calc, his brother Has the Great, and the millionaire Creo. That is 2 Tier 1 signings for what was previously a very quiet team. In terms of accomplishments, Creo finished 4th in the World Cup solo finals, 1st in Day 2 of the Winter Royale, and 4th in the duo FNCS warm-up. Young Calc carried his squad to win the Season X FNCS Grand Finals, a light prize of $300,000 by the way, and Calc also carried Zexro to a 2nd place finish in the squad FNCS Grand Finals. No joke, Calc is the only reason Zexro has earnings past June of last year. Anyways, Has the Great is literally Calc's older brother. He placed 7th in the duo FNCS Grand Finals above Calc, and won the first week of the duo qualifiers. So no leaks from me, just know BBG will undoubtedly be on your radar for the next couple of months. After BBG at the 6th spot is Sentinels. I think the last time I ranked Sen, they ended up in 2nd. Falling down 4 ranks within a year is a pretty big change. What happened was really nothing. Sentinels is still comprised of the same core roster of Animal, Aspect, High Sky, Zypha, and Bugha. They are pretty darn stacked on paper. The thing is, they haven't done much in 2020. Bugha placed 5th in the duo FNCS Grand Finals, won the most recent duo Cash Cup, and came 3rd in the 2nd day of the Winter Royale. Animal won the first 2 round solo Cash Cup, but unfortunately fell short of qualifying for the duo FNCS Grand Finals. Aspect, I'm not really sure what happened to. He used to be considered a top tier 1 pro. Maybe he's burnt out or something because he hasn't made much noise this year. High Sky, I know for a fact was burnt out as he took a big break from the game to play Valorant. Still, he qualified for the FNCS Duo Grand Finals and was a key part of the best NA squad ever. Finally, Zypha is a pro on the verge of becoming tier 1. He has the mechanics and the game sense for it, he just needs to find the right guys to do it with. So as hard as it is for me to put Sen this low, hashtag Bugha fanboy, hopefully it serves as some sort of wake-up call. Halfway through, and we have my all-time favorite org, Team Liquid. Team Liquid will forever be the most impactful competitive Fortnite team ever. They entered the scene way back at its infancy by picking up Poach, Chap, 72 Hours, and Vivid. Together, all 4 of them dominated every tournament they played in. From the Summer Skirmish to the Fall Skirmish and Winter Royale, Team Liquid was number 1 for 2018. During 2019 though, they kind of slowed their roll. Poach was not competing, 72 Hours started to play other games, and Vivid took a step back as well. Team Liquid was forced to sign 4 newcomers to re-establish their dominance. These pros were Scented, Riversand, Stretch, and Fiber. Oh, and before I forget, Chap just recently chose not to resign, meaning the only original Liquid members left are 72 Hours and Vivid. Poach plays Valorant. Still, that is a darn good team. Stretch placed 5th in the FNCS Duo Grand Finals, Scented finished 9th, and Riversand came 8th on West. All 3 of them also qualified for the FNCS Solo Invitational, with Stretch coming 2nd and 3rd in the first 2 weeks respectively. I guess he didn't need Bugha to hold his hand anymore. JK, do not block me on Twitter. Final bit of achievements, Stretch won the North American Locky Cup, Riversand won the last Solo Cash Cup, and Scented got deported back to Canada. So even after losing the GOAT Chap, Liquid remains a top 5 team in the world. Number 4 on my list is TSM. If I could put TSM in last place just to piss off Zexro, I would. Unfortunately, I want this top 10 list to be as accurate as possible. TSM was one of the first major esport organizations to invest in Fortnite. They picked up Daquan, Myth, Hamlins, and Camille's back before Epic sponsored tournaments were around. However, they really never got to compete. All of them chose to focus on content instead. I assume TSM saw this coming because they went on to sign Zexro, Macwood, Commandment, Kanata, and Slappy. Emat is more of a content creator, and Crew did not get re-signed. In terms of accomplishments, not many organizations rank above TSM. You have Zexro and Macwood, who are Season X FNCS champs, 2nd place finishers in the Chapter 2 FNCS Grand Finals, and Young Calc's part-time babysitters. You also have Commandment, arguably the most underrated player in NA, who finished 1st in the first week of the Solo FNCS Invitational, and 4th in the Squad Grand Finals. You have the big noob Kanata, who finished 4th in Solos, 12th at DreamHack Anaheim, and top 3 in like every duo Cash Cup. And you finally have Slappy and Reverse, two of the most consistent players in the scene. I gotta give TSM brownie points since Slappy was the first big player to believe in me. So no matter how much you hate Zextro, I know it's a lot, you can't escape the fact that his team is insane. On to the top 3, we have 100 Thieves. 100T is an apparel company based in California. They dove headfirst into the Fortnite scene during June of 2018 by picking up Parallax, Kenneth, Risker, and Sir D. Their current roster is comprised of Mr. Savage from EU, Cease from NA East, and Arkram, Falconer, and Rex from NA West. I'm pretty sure this is the only org on my list with players in 3 or more different regions. What's even more impressive is that all of these players are at the top of their regions. Mr. Savage won DreamHack Anaheim, 3 different solo cash cups, placed 15th in the solo FNCS Invitational, and is IGL of the best trio in the world. Cease placed 3rd at the Fortnite World Cup with Elevate, who is still a part of 100 Thieves by the way, he just plays Valorant now. Next, Arkram is arguably the best player in his region. He won the solo FNCS Invitational, finished 3rd in the duo grand finals, and top 2 in 4 different duo and solo cash cups. Rex is just as insane and finished 7th in solos, won the duo FNCS grand finals, and has more cash cup top 3s than I can count. Lastly, Falconer finished 5th in World Cup duos, won the week 2 duo cash cup, and placed 8th in the season 2 FNCS grand finals. So if anyone from 100 Thieves watches this, please send me a cream sweatshirt. Thanks. At our number 2 spot is none other than FaZe Clan. If you don't know who FaZe is, then I honestly don't know what to tell you. They run the game in content, in competitive, in clout, they basically do it all. FaZe's 2020 Fortnite roster includes Nate Hill, Funkbomb, Binny, Diggy, Tilt, Dubs, Mega, Bizzle, Sway, Martas, and Mongrel. That is an absurdly stacked roster. You have Bizzle, the solo GOAT that placed 2nd at DreamHack Anaheim, 12th in the FNCS Solo Invitational, and 3rd in the Squad Grand Finals. You also have Mega, an underrated beast that placed 2nd in duos, 5th in solos, 3rd in squads, and 7th at the World Cup. You have his duo Dubs that got banned during solos for teaming, but is still the most feared player in NA. You have Nate Hill and Funkbomb, 2 boomers that always manage to sneak their way onto the top of the leaderboards. You have FaZe Sway, the creative GOAT, and you have Mongrel. Mongrel went off at the World Cup, he dominated in trios, and he nearly won in squads. I don't know why, but people thought he fell off recently, even though he came 2nd in the Savage Cup, 2nd in the Bungee Cup, and top 5 in tons of other Season 2 events. So while I did have to take some points off for the sheer size of their roster, there is no doubt in my mind FaZe is a top 3 team in the world. Before I get to the number 1 spot, I quickly gotta go through some honorable mentions. These are teams that did not make the list, but should still be regarded as top tier competitive Fortnite orgs. From NA, there's Vanish, Overtime, CLG, and E11. From EU, there's Godsent, Atlantis, MCES, Vitality, Enterprise, and Become Legends. From Asia, there's Team 1 and Crazy Raccoon. From Middle East, there's SAQR, and from South America, there's 9Z and Cloud9. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the best Fortnite team in 2020 is NRG Esports. I gotta give credit to NRG because they made my job really easy. Nobody else comes close to being as stacked as NRG is in Fortnite. To see what I mean, just listen to who they have signed. Zate, Benji Fishy, Clicks, Epic Whale, Unknown Army, and Edgy. All 6 of those players could be in an argument for the best player in the game. That is unheard of when it comes to Fortnite orgs. There is no weak link or player that is not up to par. They are all tier 1 players. Starting with Zate, he won the duo FNCS Grand Finals, the first big trio tournament of Season 3, and finished 9th in the solo FNCS Invitational, all while streaming with 2 e-girls. Next, Benji Fishy placed 1st in the initial 2 weeks of the solo FNCS Invitational, came 2nd in Squad FNCS, and is a member of Mr. Savage's God Trio. Unknown Army won the Squad FNCS Grand Finals, won more cash cups than any other player on Earth, and placed 11th in the solo FNCS Invitational after trolling. He also recently switched to keyboard and mouse. Epic Whale won the duo FNCS Grand Finals on controller, became the first player to win a solo cash cup on both inputs, and finished 6th in the NA West Solo Invitational. Clicks qualified for the solo and duo FNCS Grand Finals, came 1st in the reboot round, and 4th in the Winter Royale. Finally, Edgy placed 9th in the duo FNCS Grand Finals, top 10 in numerous cash cups, and 3rd in the NA West Squad Grand Finals. So based on those achievements, I think we can all agree NRG is the org to beat. Overall guys, that is in my opinion the top 10 Fortnite teams in the world. Let me know down below what you agree or disagree with, as well as any teams I may have left out. On top of that, if you enjoyed the video, do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code GeFortnite. We're growing like crazy right now and I cannot thank you all enough. Hashtag road to 1 million. Otherwise, that's it from me and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.